Autobots, roll out!
Hello and welcome to That's Just Prime, and today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Tribute Movie Anniversary Edition Optimus Prime, and I love this toy. Quick reminder to everybody, if you see spots on the screen, my lens is not dirty. I dropped my phone and I've got a couple of dead pixels, so nothing I can do about that for the moment. Released in July of 2017, this guy is starting to become available right now. As of the time of this recording, he's available online and he's starting to pop up in stores. And he's retailing for approximately $80. Here in truck mode, he measures approximately 11 inches long and is about 4 or 5 inches tall, depending on where you want to go, to the top of the cab, sleeper, or the smokestacks. So this is nothing more than a repaint of the original Leader Class movie Optimus Prime that we got in 2017. Sorry, 2007. This is a 10-year anniversary edition figure. So I know that I am typically very firmly against just direct repaints because this has nothing added to the figure. It's got the exact same sounds, the exact same lights, maybe a little brighter bulbs this time around, but it's the exact same sounds and lights and everything. There's no difference between this and the original figure other than the paint job. And I'm typically very firmly against these direct repaints that they've been doing a lot of lately at an inflated price. If you think about it, again, it's the same figure with a new paint job selling for twice as much as the original one did. But let's go back and look at something that I said when I reviewed the original figure. The only thing that I think they could have improved on this figure is you'll notice that all of this is just your bland gray. Your grill here, your visors, your air filters, your step, your tanks, the smokestacks, all the rims. This is all gray plastic, and I would have loved to have seen this done with a silver paint. But if I were going to change anything on this vehicle mode, that would have been it. I would have given it some silver paint instead of the gray. So as you can see, when I saw this figure, I just had to have it. So let's take a look at this guy right here. I just think this figure is absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's it's almost exactly what I asked for when I reviewed it originally. So, like I said, truck mode, approximately 11 inches long. It's about 5 inches tall at the top of the smokestacks, and it just looks gorgeous. Look at this guy. Now, that being said, there are a couple of things that I think they kind of missed the mark on. We're going to look at those here in a moment. Let's just take a look at this truck. This is just absolutely beautiful. You could just see it shine. See my lights just shining up on that thing. It's just gorgeous. I just had to have it when I saw this beautiful, beautiful truck. Now, let's compare with the original one real quick, and we'll see if we have a little bit of room. And there are some spots here that I thought they did leave a little room for improvement. The original one had the gold fade in the front that the truck that they used in the movie had, and they left this one out. And it's a shame. That's one of those things that more and more, as the movie figures went along, they just started to leave that gold fade out. And very rarely they just start seeing that. That's a shame. I really wish I would have put the gold fade in there. The flames on the hood were a little longer. There were more flames on the original one, and they were a little longer than they are on this newer one, on this repaint. So, yeah, I think they kind of got a little lazy in the flame department and in the paint department here in the hood. And then let's see if we can see the back here again. We like I had anything to do with it. They left the flame. There's some flames on the back fenders here, and those were omitted on this time around. They just left those out. So that's a little disappointing that they went through all the trouble of giving us this absolutely gorgeous chromed out repaint, and then they started leaving flames out. If you look at the toolbox back here, half of the toolbox isn't chromed out, and then the smokestacks are still unpainted gray. But and then I don't know why they didn't do this with the original one either. Look at that. I don't know why they keep leaving these tabs grayed out. Why don't they just mold those in red? I don't get it. Spray, not spray, but airbrush those in red. I can kind of understand airbrushing. I guess airbrushing would fade away, possibly fade away. So why not just mold that piece in red? I don't get it. But anyway, there it is. So that's about it for truck mode. He still has the same lights and sounds. You got a button up here on the top. When you press on that, you're going to get some horns and some lights here on the front. And again, like I mentioned, I think those are brighter than the original one. Let's see if we can get a good angle on that so we can see them both. So they give them a little brighter lights this time around, but the exact same sounds and the exact same lights or light effect anyway. So yeah, exact same truck once again, just a more beautifully painted one. I just love the way this looks in truck mode. All this chrome is just gorgeous. Move the camera up just a little bit to get into transformation. Again, transformation is going to be the exact same as with the original figure. So I'm going to start right here in the back. I like to start by separating these guys here. Whole back end separates, comes down. This guy, I found that the joints seem to be stiffer with this guy than they are with the original. Separate the side panels here. Separate the front of the hood. Separate the legs. And bring the legs all the way down. Let's see, the hip joint, the hip joint or the waist joint down there. Go ahead and swing this thing all the way down and just leave it down for now so that we can keep the legs out of the way for the transformation. The feet, we'll go ahead and do the feet now. These panels are going to fold up and then swing upwards, and these are going to become the, see what I mean? Those joints are just super stiff. These are going to become the knee joints, so bring those all the way up. Release the feet, and then these, I found these a little problematic. This one not so much. The bumper's going to slide out, and then you're going to turn this, and that's going to create the toe, and then finally turn this outside of the bumper up to create the heel. That one works just fine. This one, you'll see, doesn't want to stay in place. This one keeps springing back on me. So chances are, by the time I'm done with the transformation, it's going to be like that again. So, boy, you look at that. That is a fingerprint magnet, though, isn't it? That's going to be the legs pretty much done right there for the time being. We'll leave these hanging down for now. And then come up to the top here. We are going to separate the sleeper cab. So, I'm just going to bring this up and over. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing here. Bring this part up and over the toolbox here and swing this part of the sleeper cab around. Once I do that, I'm going to take this entire tank, toolbox, and step and just swing these back like so and leave that there for the time being. Same thing on this side. Go ahead and bring this up and over the toolbox so you can swing that around. Bring the tank, swing it up. And this is why we're leaving the legs down the way we are, is that so that we have the clearance to swing those tanks around like that. Once we're back here, we're still super tall. Let's see if I can go up like that some. It should work right there. So once we're here, we're going to take the toolbox, swing it back or up, swing it up. My tongue stopped working. I've been getting a lot of that lately. And then these panels are going to swing around into the inside, and they're going to tab. There's a tab and a port right there. Tab and a port right there. Swing these in, tab that in place like that. Same thing on this side. Swing the whole front of the step and the front part of the hood there. Swing this piece up like that. Rotate it around. It's double hinged right there. So, and these hinges are so stiff on mine. And again, just tab that into place right there. Whole backpack is done. I really like the backpack because the air filters are hollow on the bottom. So when they're sitting on the back, they kind of look like some little, I don't know, turbines or little jet packs or something. It's not movie accurate, but it is cool. It's fun. Come around the front, bring these pieces forward, bring that down, open this back panel up. That's going to reveal the fist. Bring that out. And then bring the arm down. This top panel is going to come up, rotate, and sit on a shoulder. And then the little step's going to come up just like that. Same thing on this side. Go ahead and bring or open that up. Bring the fist out. Close that. Arm down. There we go. It is fiddly. It is a fiddly figure. Always has been. And like I said, nothing changes between this one and the original one. Panel down, step up, and that's going to be his arms. Now, his fingers, see what I mean about the toes here? Probably not going to be the last time I do that either. Fingers are articulated, so you can open up the hand. The thumb is on a ball joint, and each finger, they're all molded the same way, but they're all individually hinged on that pin right there. So You know, you can give them kind of like a natural fist curl where the index sticks out further than the rest of the finger, something like that. There you go. So that'll work. This one I'm going to leave like that for the weapon gimmick. So once we're here, go ahead and rotate the rest of this hip part forward. It's going to tab in right there. Hinge and tab right, or sorry, tab and port right there. This one doesn't tab in as securely as my original one. So see, that one seems to be not as secure, but that's where it's going to go. So once you're there, you can go ahead and just split these guys. I don't bend them 90. I just kind of leave them like that at an angle. And then these are going to accordion up, and that tab's going to go through that slot and tab in right there at the back of the thigh. So that's going to pin in right there. Legs are done. Get them straightened out some. And see, now my toes are all a mess. So, and it's fine if this happens. You can just do that to it, and it's not really going to hurt it. There you go. Let me get them nice and straightened out for the head reveal, which I'm sure you remember how this looks, but it's epic, and I want to do it on camera. So let me get them standing straight. Nice. There you go. Nice pose. Got them fully in camera. And finally, we're going to take this little panel right there at the abdomen, push that in. And there is Optimus Prime in robot mode, and he looks awesome. Here in robot mode, Optimus is approximately 9 to 10 inches tall. And yeah, while it's not the most, and I've said this before, it's not the most screen-accurate Optimus that we've gotten, it is a lot of fun. I love the fact that this guy is blocky and just kind of, it's almost like we were coming out of that Cybertron series, and which we weren't, but it feels like we were coming out of Cybertron and into the movie figures almost with this, because it's blocky and it just makes it fun to play with. You know, when you really get down to the nitty-gritty of things, these are meant to be kids' toys. At the end of the day, those movies are supposed to sell movies to kids. If you think about figures that came out in Revenge of the Fallen and some of the newer movies now, kids can't. Some kids just, you can't play with those figures. You really can't. You can't play with those figures the way we played with our figures when we were kids. They fall apart. They're difficult to transform. They're time consuming. Blah 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 blah. They just come up with. Yes, I know some of you are going to comment. I used to transform my figures when I was 4 years old. Guess what? So did I. Guess what? Our figures are made of metal. They didn't fall apart the way newer or modern figures do. This is a figure that a toy or a kid can just grab it in his hand and just play with it, you know? And that is what I love about this figure. It may not be the most screen accurate, but it is something that a kid can grab and play with, and I can just see hours of fun with this figure right here. So let me bring him in for comparison so you can see what it looked like with the standing next to the original. And again, my toe. There you go. So yeah, look at that. So again, when I saw this guy, I just had to have it. He looks incredible. Doing the articulation real quick. We've done this before, but the head can turn not quite all the way around, but he can turn like that. The shoulders can go in and out, and they can go up all the way around. You've got a rotation at the elbow. You've got a double hinge at the elbow due to our transformation. We talked about the fingers. There is no wrist articulation, unfortunately. No turn at the waist. Universal joint at the hip, so in and out, forward and backward. You have a bend at the knee. You do have to move these guys around to be able to get a bend at the knee. Not quite a 90, so he's not going to really be able to kick somebody's face off too good. And then the feet are on a ball joint. So there you go. That's articulation. Not too bad for the time. You still have the same exact cannon that we had before. So we've got this little lever right here on the inside of the arm. When we slide that, the cannon is going to rotate. I'm trying to do it where I'm not blocking the light. So that's going to bring out the cannon. As you can see, there's a couple of pipes or cannons or tubes or who knows what, barrels coming out of his arm right here. That's going to come around, cover up his fist, and there you go. He's auto-transformed his arm into a weapon. and again with the toes. This foot, his left foot on my figure, is a pain in the butt. It as you saw, it just springs back, and it's just a pain in the butt. And I'm constantly, when I'm moving him around, I always have to fix that. And it may just be my figure. As you saw, this right foot works just fine, and the one on the original figure works just fine. So that might just be one of those your mileage may vary kind of things. But on mine, it's been a complete pain in the butt. But there you go. Detail. I love the new blue. It's a more vibrant, brighter blue than on the original one. The red is a little deeper red. It's not as orangey as the original one was. And then, of course, you've got all the new chrome pieces. And now, it's still all the same chrome stuff that we saw in truck mode. The only new piece that you haven't seen or before is going to be, let me fix that, right here on the abdomen. You've got these little grills right here that are chromed out. That's going to be about it. Nothing for the legs or the biceps or anything like that. That all pretty much stayed unpainted gray. So there you go. Let me bring this guy in again so you can see them side by side, what they look like. So yeah, again, you know, this is one of those. You guys know I've said this a lot. I'm not a fan of these figures that are coming out now, that are just repaints for the sake of repaints, and also coming out at an inflated price. I have not been a fan of any of those. I've refused to buy any of those. Man, they got me. They won, because when I saw this one, I just had to have it. Is it a good price at $80? I don't think so. I think, you know, it's double the price that this guy was when he came out 10 years ago. I think that's too inflated. 50, 55, maybe 60 is a little pushing it, I think would be a fair price for this. And probably it's going to drop down to that point, or to that price at some point if we wait around long enough online. I know that a lot of these repaints, and also, by the way, the one that I'm reviewing, coming up soon, I'm reviewing the Air Attack Optimus Primal, and that one got a blue and red repaint that I just completely refused to buy. And then eventually I saw that it dropped down cheap enough, and that's when I got it. This figure, chances are it'll do the same, but it's one of those that I just did not want to risk it. It's one of those that I knew that I had to have it, and I didn't mind paying it. But it's, you know, if we're going to be honest, it is, I think it's way too much at 80. You know, again, maybe anywhere between 50 and 60, I think would have been a fair price. So if you want to wait and see if it drops, I completely agree with that. But if you missed out on the first one, you know, if you can get this one and you missed on this one, this is a fun figure. I love it. Absolutely love it. So I think I'm rambling, so let's cut it off there. I think that about covers the Transformers Tribute Movie Anniversary Edition Optimus Prime. What did you think of this figure? What would you like to see me review next? Let me know by leaving me a comment. Give me some thumbs up. Subscribe and share with your friends if you like what you see. And I'll talk to you next time on That's Just Prime.